The podcast, well, it starts right now. Hello
And
to
let
all.
me just say, what's up?
I have to respond to that and just say, to be completely honest, not much.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Do you remember SUP NMU?
Of course I remember SUP NMU.
Whatever happened to that?
Look, I think it's still alive and well. I think SUP, now people just say not much. They don't, I think abbreviating has lost its luster because phones have full keyboards and
Right.
the medium's the message. But,
Totally.
but I think people still say when you start a conversation with let's say you're on a scruff or something and you're like,
Sure.
sup, someone will be like, not much, and then you'll be like, not much. And then you won't talk for a month.
It's interesting because you're pointing to an interesting dynamic, which is that a lot of early online culture now only lives through hookup apps. I think people on hookup apps, people are using AOL language almost in a fetishistic way. Whereas when you text or when you email, you would never still use that. It would be considered sort of immoral and inappropriate to say sup NMU.
Well, it feels
Whereas
cold.
you used to just say that to an acquaintance, a normal high school or middle school friend.
I mean, I would say even beyond an acquaintance, that was something you could say to your closest friend and it would be acceptable.
Yeah, you would say to your grandmother.
If she had a username.
If she had a username, ASL.
Yeah.
She's like, what?
Her name is Grandma Love 24. But I feel now it does only because now we're using a phone number. Yeah. So it's we don't need to play these games with each other.
Totally.
But at the same time, I actually do have a friend that will just text a sup. And in a way that I actually do really appreciate it because it's sort of putting out a feeler for
right.
You around, you want to hang, no worries if not, and without saying all that.
And it's not ironic in any way. It's not afraid to reference or not reference. They are referencing AIM culture.
They are referencing, and it's, you know what it is? The sup in this context is to scruff the sex app what a woof is. Just saying sup, it's sort of saying I'm available.
Yeah.
Are you even slightly? And then if you're busy, then it's no. But if you're yep, you can even say not much, sup with you, and it'll be kind of want to go out. And it's
you describing this is very Alien from Signs learning about human language. There's a way in which you are deconstructing very basic sort of syllabic sounds. You're when I want to hang, I say sup. When person responds well, I say, oh, yes, okay.
My God, you are once again leading me into a trap in which, we're examining the micro ways that people have a conversation.
It's true.
And then suddenly I'm the weird one for examining the micro ways in which we have a conversation.
Okay, you're right. Here's a question for you. I would say at this point, I text in complete sentences with proper capitalization, punctuation, and I basically write as though I'm writing an email. Where do you stand on people who still have a sort of flair to their typing, who still, let's say, unselect the uppercase letters when they text?
I celebrate it. I think, George, I think you're in a rush to grow up, and I think you always have been. And I think,
you're right.
Keeping that sort of childlike wonder with messaging I think is really important.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. I'm in a real rush to grow up, only in terms of aesthetics and not in terms of financial stability or career. And that has been my downfall because people expect too much from me because they see that I use periods and semicolons.
Yeah, no, it's really true actually. And I think, it can be sort of it's why are we sending complete sentences? Is it because we feel like society wants us to, or is it because we actually enjoy speaking in that way?
I think for me, it's also the path of least resistance because you're writing something, it autocorrects to proper English. And then you're like, well, what am I going to do? Go back and make this waza?
No, that's true. The tech lords are trying to put put us in a box and make us grow up.
Yeah, and you know what? I'll answer my own question. Yeah, you should go back and change it to was up, because that is literally like human culture that is dying, and language, argot, if you will, that is dying because of because of Tim Cook.
Because of some guy. I don't care if it's Mark or Tim. Somebody's correcting my language and saying, I think you need a period there, sweetheart.
Do you know what I always love as a sort of linguistic flourish is when people go, yeah, some guy, and yeah, it's always a guy. And then they like complete the sentence.
You mean like in like a rom-com or something?
No. Like in a sort of opinion piece of some sort, where it's like the men who control the entertainment industry, M dash, and yeah, it's usually men. M dash again.
Yeah. It's like, damn, what bite?
Exactly. You know, it's what I call, I coined this term many years ago and it did not catch on, but half humor. Have I ever talked to you about this?
You have never. You've hidden your entire thesis on half humor from me for all of the 3 years that we've done this podcast. Please.
Okay. The thing is, I'm not ready to fully, like, I would need some time to develop a syllabus because this is something that I have not thought about in a while. But basically what half humor is like the way people pepper their speech with nods to humor, especially on the internet, so that they can get away with not actually saying anything funny or original.
Interesting.
Like I would say, it's sort of like, I mean, a very basic kind of half humor is over relying on abbreviations or like, or words like interwebs.
Yeah.
It's sort of like if I was like, speak. I was watching Face the Nation because I was watching Face the Nation or something. And it's like, well, that's, enough for 2013.
Yeah.
We're going to need a little more than that.
But the thing is, I think it's always going to be kind of like that. Because now it's just like, you say like boots after your sentence and it's like, that's a joke.
Well, but to defend myself, I would say that when I say boots, I am commenting on the idea of someone saying boots.
Of course.
Rather than doing it earnestly. All I'm saying is a mix of, I'll say this, the two things that have ruined American humor, and I think they should stop giving out the Mark Twain Prize because of this, are BuzzFeed and Cards Against Humanity.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I think Cards Against Humanity has done so much damage, and we still are like we've not figured out the full effect that has had on us as a society.
Yeah, scientists will be studying that for generations.
I mean, literally, that's like free speech warriors. That's like why like so many people think comedy is just saying something offensive is because of Cards Against Humanity being like Helen Keller. And it's like, it's also, get it.
Full-blown AIDS. Oh, hilarious.
My God.
Fuck off. Fuck off.
Psycho. It's also like, not to like defend South Park right now, but it's like, South Park had a moment.
You must. Guess what? South Park is at least better than... So go ahead, actually.
South Park had a moment, and it was very funny, and it was like biting in the right way.
Yes.
And then people were just like, "Oh, you just need to make people be nasty."
Exactly.
And like say things like full-blown AIDS. Like South Park, there's a direct line from South Park to Cards Against Humanity to the end of civilization. Yeah. And it is unfortunate because it's like someone misinterpreted what South Park was doing and said like, "Oh, I can do that," but it's the truth. It did happen.
Do you think BuzzFeed and Cards Against Humanity, as the two harbingers of the apocalypse, are opposing forces or twin forces?
I actually think
it's a tough one.
Opposing forces, but in a way that like one is for like conservatives and one is for liberals, but both lead them to the same place.
Yes. You could say it's two sides of the same coin.
Wow.
Our guest just fainted.
This is crazy because that means we're going to have
from
to
intellectual
go.
simulation. People don't know that could happen, but if you hear something extremely intelligent and prescient, then you can lose consciousness.
Yeah, we've had so many. That's why we always have alternate guests, because we've killed off many people in the alternative comedy scene.
Yeah, the body count of this podcast rivals that of the Iraq War.
I was going to say the exact same thing.
I'm not saying that's good or bad. And far be it for me to judge something as complex as the Iraq War, which, you know, there are great people on all sides, of course.
Of course. I would never cast judgment.
I would never cast judgment.
He who casts judgment on the Iraq War. You guys
Please.
get the rest.
Yeah, glass houses, you know.
The stones that are thrown.
The stones, and they are thrown, and they are thrown.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I can't stay silent anymore after that. I can't.
Please,
I have to
Chris.
speak up. I have to say something.
We brought you in because you were one of the key architects of the Iraq War, and on this, its 20th anniversary, we would like you to sort of walk us through the thought process.
You ran the social accounts for the Iraq War, I think.
Yes, with Donald Rumsfeld. Yeah, sort of throwing things at the wall, seeing what sticked, you know, just sort of, you know, getting out of our comfort zone, just sort of, you know, a little of this, a little of that.
And all the wrong things stuck to that wall.
Yeah, and you know, that's what you got to take risks, you know, and
that's so
social,
true.
You got to take risks.
I mean, in a sense that like there were a lot of mistakes being made, but no one can say that you weren't like taking risks, and no one can say that you weren't like keeping yourself on your own toes.
Absolutely. You know, you're in this work for yourself at the end of the day. It's not about other people. It's not about impressing other people. It's about sort of like keeping yourself interested, invigorated, sort of at the cutting edge of culture. And I really think I did that with the Iraq War. You can't say that it wasn't on the cutting edge of culture.
No, and it's such a thing where it's like, you know, it's very love me or hate me, it's still an obsession. It's like people are still talking about it. Like you made a splash.
You can't say it didn't have an impact. You can't say that it didn't
had an impact, and it's being felt to this day.
It made a
who's to say if that's good or bad?
Globally. It made a wave. That's all that I can say about it.
Gaga wishes sometimes, you know what I mean?
Totally. I mean,
honey, after that Oscar performance, I know she wishes.
So why was she dressed like Jacqueline Novak and Get on Your Knees?
Wow.
She loves it. I know. I'm a little monster.
First of all, I'm saying that as someone who worships Jacqueline Novak and has seen Get on Your Knees multiple times. So don't get it twisted.
Okay, honey. As we all do.
But I do think she was wearing the exact outfit that Jacqueline Novak very intentionally and I think brilliantly debuted in that show.
Absolutely, because Lady Gaga she studies craft. She studies art, right? She's always innovating. Sort of like me in the Iraq War. Lady Gaga is always innovating. She's always trying to push the envelope, try new things, and throw things at the wall and stick. She already did the Oscars as like glammed up 50s, you know, old Hollywood. She was like, I'm not doing that. That era is done. We're moving into our Jacqueline Novak Get on Your Knees era, I think.
I would, if Gaga's next era was Jacqueline Novak, that would have way more of an impact than her previous like 3 eras. Like,
okay, come on,
Joanne caught dead. Joanne,
no. Sorry. Apologies. I love Chromatica. I literally teared up when I saw her in concert. But I do think if Gaga. But if Gaga did a one-woman show that she toured across the country that had incisive and nuanced feminist takes on oral sex, much like our peer Jacqueline Novak, that would put her back on the map.
Honey, you know, with some fierce vocals too, just sort of layered in, sort of peppered in. Yeah, that's something that actually I wouldn't expect. I would be gagged for that. That would be more exciting to me than a...
Imagine they're like, so what are you thinking next? And she's like, have you heard of Jacqueline Novak?
She's like, I saw this amazing little show
at Cherry Lane Theater.
Owned by A24. A24 is Cherry Lane Theater, honey.
But she goes, you know, this was before, you know how she loves to romanticize old New York? She's like, this was even before it was owned by A24. I mean, this was the wild downtown scene. I carried my piano into the audience and played while she performed.
I was on my way to Covenant of the Sacred Heart in high school, and I brought my piano downtown between geometry class and science.
Yeah. She's like, I was on meth, I was on bath salts, I was on coke.
I was stripping.
I was stripping again in the audience. People were staring at me. I disrupted the show and was thrown out. But that's what we did back then.
But that's what New York was.
It was 2004. Downtown, life was crazy.
Yeah, Record had just started. Actually, it was.
Yeah, it was 2004. I was undeclared at NYU.
There was so much potential.
The world was at our feet.
Wow.
Well, Chris, let's bring in our
what's
guest.
up?
Please welcome
Chris,
to our guest,
what's up?
Wait,
Chris
it's me.
Murphy.
Wow, thank you. It's really an honor
Hello.
and a privilege. An honor and a privilege to be here, I gotta say. And I do want to say, your sup versus hi conversation. Yeah, I was listening, and yeah, I've been here the whole time. It's not a big deal. It's so crazy because I never thought of this. Like, sup is so sex coded, but hi, like you would never say like hi like on like Scruff
Totally.
or Grinder. Hi is so
Wow.
friend coded, and sup is so sex. And I don't know what that is about.
Well, sup is drag. Sup is pretending, especially on a sex app. Sup is like it's being like, I don't care. Like it's sort of it sounds more masculine. It's projecting that image that people like to share of like the guy on the mattress with bottles all over the floor. That's like, if the room looks like this, the dick is good. Like it's like,
but
that's what saying sup implies.
Don't you think hi is the feminine version of sup? I mean, I imagine like a sort of traditional family values sorority girl wants to go on a date with Jake.
Jake on the lacrosse team, yeah.
Exactly, Jake on the lacrosse team. He's junior varsity, but he has a beautiful cock. Yeah.
Gorgeous cock. That's exactly
and so she gorgeous cock. Otherwise, no prospects in life, and she could do better, but that dick.
Honey.
So she texts him, hi.
But
Don't you see that?
I feel like I can see that, but to me, honestly, that would be her friend. Like her friends would see that and be like, "Girl, you can't text him hi."
You have to say what you want. Yeah.
Like,
you have to
he's
put
gonna
yourself
think
out there.
you're needy. Like you can't be doing that.
No,
like,
that girl doesn't text first. That girl waits for Jake to text.
That girl waits for Jake.
That girl waits for the.
She's waiting for sup.
Or when she texts Jake, she's like, "Oh my god, you like the Knicks?" Like me too. Like I always love the Knicks. Like
wait. Okay.
She's
waiting for Guffman or waiting for sup man?
Oh
my god, the next segment has already begun, and
it's pouring out of me.
It's just
genius.
You know that thing, that meme that's like texting the weed man for weed or whatever, texting the sup man for sups.
Texting the sup man for sups. That's you know what? I've been that girl. I am that girl. I see that girl. I know that girl.
Are you sup or are you high?
Yeah.
I'm definitely, and this is so, it's like embarrassing to say, I'm definitely like, for sex purposes, I'm definitely sup. Like, that's definitely like, I want to project that distance. I want to be like, oh, like, I'm not emotionally invested. I have nothing writing on this. Like, I don't need this when clearly I'm on this app because I crave it more than life itself. So it's like, you gotta, I'd be lying. I would love to be a high, but I'm not confident enough in myself. I'm too steeped in gender roles.
That's so funny because I think sup is more confident than high. I think I don't have the confidence to be a sup man because that requires a sort of like, I mean, it's of course rooted in misogyny, but it requires a more masculine, it's a more masculine tone.
Because it's rooted in misogyny, it does a lot of work for you. Like that's what sup, like sup does a lot of the work of like projecting like an ethos.
Right. You are being, so in that sense, you are upholding patriarchy, whereas I'm subverting it.
Yeah, no, literally. That's sort of what's happening.
If I were to see like George, like if I were to be on Scruff and saw you on Scruff, I would message you, hi, like as a joke. Like,
Oh, like
George is
this is like we know each other. It's not like an imaginary world where we don't. Of course, yes. No, I agree with that.
It's like that to me is like it's literally a neutered way to greet on a sex app.
But it's also neutered. It's neutered, but it's also like there's a tinge of humor, and so you have plausible deniability where like if the other person is like, "Sorry, I fucking hate you, ugly bitch," then you can be like, "Well, I was joking."
Yeah, but like, okay, but I'll say, like, are we on this app to like do our type 5 or are we on the app to get laid? I mean, that's the thing.
Well,
and that's so Chris, high as a defense mechanism. I'm just that's what I'm seeing.
Huh.
It's just something to think about.
It's tough. And you actually are pointing to something that Sam and I were talking about the other day of like not being able to be funny in sexual situations. Like Sam, you were saying that you have comedy voice. So if you're
Did I talk about this on the podcast yet?
Oh wait, was it on the podcast?
I'm not sure because I
haven't heard it.
Well, we'll bring if we repeat it. Who cares? I think it needs to be talked about. I think we didn't.
It wasn't. I don't think it was on the.
I think I have comedy voice like always. Like in sexual, like when you're around like guys who are like good at like being like like have you ever had somebody like confidently say like bub to you and it's like kind of hot? Like, sorry, I'm
Wow.
like, this is like bear community stuff, but
I'm
like,
rock hard.
That is, never have I ever, but I'm like, I'm leaning in. I leaned away and now I'm leaning back in.
Well, and then it's like when these guys are like being this like flirty, like sexy voice thing, and it's like, I'll literally try to say something and it just sounds comedic, and it sounds even more comedic because it's contrasted with their like very honed sex voice. And it like takes me out of it and takes everyone out of it, and I don't really know how to handle it.
I think you're projecting. I don't think it takes everybody out of it. I think that's what you think is happening. That's you're the little voice. That's our inner saboteur, honey.
100%. And I also think your specific brand of comedy voice, Sam, is kind of sexy. Like, I think you when you're sort of like, no, I didn't. Like you'll do a sort of thing like that. It's like, it's flirty.
Okay, sure.
I wouldn't peg you. There are some girlies who have like comedy voice, like need to be hospitalized, and you're not.
Yeah,
one
like
of those
Seth Rogen. You're not Seth Rogen.
Well, in bear community, Seth Rogen would have sexy voice.
That's actually 100% true. And quite frankly, I want to have sex with him.
Yeah,
so it's working.
Everybody here, 100%.
Yeah. Well, do either of you feel like you have comedy voice? Like you just like, do you switch when you're in a sexy situation? And are you good at switching?
I'm definitely good. I went to boarding school. I'm good at turning on like a more straight, like a more like less you know, John Early, Caperland, Brooklyn comedy.
Yeah, you
voice.
can go right to Kyle Kinane in a heartbeat. Sure.
I can drop in, and I have.
Yeah,
and I weaponize that.
You go Kurt Braunholer.
Kurt Braunholer.
Yeah. I'd like to. Again, it's like these are while my deepest insecurities are coming out. I'd love to say I keep my normal voice, but no, if I need to drop in to sort of like reel them in, you know, honey, I'll do it. You know, what, George? Are you
interesting? I have a different kind of comedy voice than Sam, because my comedy voice is like sarcastic voice. Like it's like I always sound like I'm, you know, semi making fun of something, and that is a huge turnoff when someone is like, you know, let's say someone, God forbid, is attracted to me. They want me to like return that favor rather than me
earnestly
being like
pursuing you.
Exactly. And so I do think it's difficult to be like, oh, that feels good.
That was Samantha Jones. So that was like just about.
No, that was Samantha
okay, so you go
Jones.
Samantha Jones.
I do think in flirting, the sarcasm voice can kind of work because it's like sort of, it's people like to feel like you're being disdainful of them, and I think that you're really serving that to them.
Yes.
So it can kind of be like you're negging or something.
Well,
that's true.
It is true. This brings me to this other thing. I was just talking to like a group of actors, like about like, okay, like for sex, like role play, like I don't know, like we were all like, that's not really like I don't want to like pretend. I don't want to do like long form improv and, you know, be like a doctor and you're a candy striper. I want to just sort of like, I want to be real. I want to be me, even if that's me putting on like a fake voice. So I feel like there's a pair, like, I don't know. I don't know, not to speak for the comedy community.
No, I feel so. I'm very, you know, very down to sort of be playful in a variety of ways, or speak more aggressively or speak less aggressively, whatever. But the idea of a full-on role play where I am playing a character is something that, to this day, I'm like, that only happens in movies. Even though I know that's not true. I know people do it, and people I know do it, and I've talked about. But
celebrate it.
That seems like so outside my sort of outside anything that could turn me on. Personally.
Sam's being quiet.
Well, okay, so I'm reflecting. I think if it were to go well, I could see that being so hot. Like if everyone like nailed the role and everyone was like properly cast, and it like. Like
everybody got callbacks. Everybody was sort of off book.
Well, we would, and at that point, we would need to bring in an A24. We would need to bring in a director, an intimacy coordinator, a consultant,
art director,
a sensitivity reader for the script, because I don't want to offend any communities out there.
Absolutely, but if that were all to go perfectly,
like I
could be
down.
really hot.
But I feel like it's like you're setting yourself up for a trap, because especially this is like there's no way in my life that I could be non-comedic in that situation.
Right.
And I
guess that's what I'm afraid of. Yes.
Because I even like I've sometimes said like my comedy origin story is like I liked comedy, but then like when I was in college I was really moody, and like I was like, okay, I'm gonna be like I'm gonna try to write like something serious. Like come on, like let's let's like really tap into something. And like I was enjoying being intellectual in this way. And I would have people read it and they would be like, oh, this is so funny. And it was like, it's not actually. It's not actually.
You were that girl. Like, you were that girl.
There was a moment where I was like, okay, I guess just inherently whatever I do will be funny, so I might as well lean into it.
Okay, confidence. We love that.
Okay. Everyone was like, this is laughable. And you're like, oh, so I'm a genius.
No, I get that. Some people can't help it. I know what you mean. I do.
Well, because here's the thing. Okay. When you do normal improv, the goal is to get a laugh. And what role playing is improv with a different goal. The goal is to be horny. Like the goal is to be hot. And so it is difficult to unlearn one goal. I mean, it's like if I was trained as hold on, I'm going to come up with a really good metaphor for this.
I'm waiting.
If I was trained
to like be silent or
I was trained only to land a plane, but then I had to take off a plane, I'd be like, well, I'm facing down. That's all I know.
Okay.
I'm gonna give that 7 doves.
Yeah.
That metaphor didn't quite track, but
okay.
Sure.
Wait. I have another one. It's if I am, I am comme des garçons, and I am hired to literally create the U.S. the swim team's bathing suits.
Okay.
I can't do that. I'm trained in high fashion. They're all going to have holes in them, and they're not going to be waterproof.
That's okay. Now we're at least up to 14. That was better. That does make
That's better.
Niche.
Better. I don't think it's that niche. It's the difference between high fashion and and Olympic sport.
And Olympic sports, Ralph Lauren.
So they got hired. Comme des Garçons got hired to build the swimsuits for the Olympics.
Yeah.
Okay. That's the base reality of the scene. Okay. That's our base reality.
Well, if we're talking world building, then that's the impetus of the drama that's about to occur in this, I'll say it, romantic comedy.
So they made a pitch. They said, we are pitching this swimsuit style.
That's right.
Sort of thinking like, we're probably not going to land this account because like it's not our vibe, but we should at least pitch. And then they're like,
you're thinking of it wrong. They didn't pitch. The United States national team went to them and they were like, make the swimsuits.
Okay, so they were plucked from obscurity.
Exactly.
They were sort of, okay.
And it's like that thing where like back in the day before the Bill of Rights or whatever, when you used to have, if a soldier went to your house and asked to stay there, you had to let them stay. That's what we still have, but for... But for Olympians and
swimsuits.
Right.
So that's
also like, I'm sure that's more money than, yes, Comme des Garçons is of course an iconic brand, but they're not getting deals the level of the United States swim team.
Okay. That's a big account. They've landed the big account, but they're not prepared for it. But they're not
that big of an
account.
I'm also like, it's not even that big of an account. Like there aren't that many swimmers.
There's like 40. There's like 30 or 40 swimmers.
There's really not that many. There's really not that many.
The U.S. has a really good swim team, so they're gonna win gold medals. So you're gonna see your design like on the medal stand, repeatedly getting gold medals.
But you don't really have control over that. That's not a guarantee.
I don't know.
So the problem is that, like reputationally for Comme des Garçons, there's a lot at stake.
There's a lot at stake, and they're not equipped to execute. Even though it feels like, why would they get picked if they're not equipped to execute it?
It also feels like they will actually, like even if they don't work well and they don't function well, if they look amazing when they're on the stand, then they've done their job.
Yeah. Okay.
Wait,
I need to think of a better metaphor.
I don't even remember what this was an analogy for.
This was about improv. This is
about if you are used to using improv for laughs, but now you have to use it for horniness.
Which is like,
so you're trained in one way. You're trained in one way.
Okay. Wait. I do have a thing. Okay. Wait. Even in improv training, to bring it back a little bit.
Yeah. So bring it back.
Like I feel like the whole thing is like, don't try to be funny. Like if you act grounded and normal in the scene, inevitably something weird will happen, and the point is to like point that weird thing out and then like expand upon it. And I feel like that's sort of where I flop in a role-playing situation, because I wouldn't be able to, like, inevitably there would be a point where somebody would do something wrong, and it would be like, well, if you're a doctor, you wouldn't actually say that. And then it's like, do I ignore
it? Do you overlook it, or do you call it out, or do you see something, say something?
Yeah.
Or
No, that's really true.
No, I just can't get over it. I'm back to the come to go start, because they would know how to make a swimsuit, probably.
I really think that you guys are not understanding that it was a pretty good analogy.
I'm still working through it. I'm still processing it.
They were trained in one thing. I mean, they're trained in one thing and they have to do another thing.
This is now personal.
They've never worked with a waterproof. I mean, they've worked with waterproof materials, but not to that level.
Not to this level.
Not at an Olympic level. Yeah,
at these stakes. The stakes are high.
The stakes are high. There's doing 30 swimsuits.
Yeah, and by the way, it's a Japanese brand. It would be a controversial choice for the U.S. to pick them anyway, there's a lot to live up to.
There's a lot to live up to, just like when we have sex with people and are doing
exactly.
Roleplay. That actually It's okay. Okay, so we're actually okay. We're all aligned. That actually made it perfect. That was perfect.
That was really good.
Amazing.
That was really good.
So after the raging success of that, should we do our first segment?
Yes, please.
I'm so down.
Okay, our first segment, Chris, as you know, is called Straight Shooters. And in this segment, we test your familiarity with and complicity in straight culture by asking you a series of rapid-fire questions where you have to choose one thing or another thing. And the one rule is you can't ask any follow-up questions about how the game works. Do you copy?
Okay, I do copy. And I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm excited. I'm excited to be here. I always think that I know, but I don't know.
Sam, take it away.
Okay, Chris. Flipping the bird or missing your herd?
Missing your herd.
Chris, Gender Trouble by Judith Butler or Being in a Filter Bubble and Not Knowing Austin Butler?
Gotta go Being in a Filter Bubble.
Okay, Chris, we need to talk about Kevin or the problem with Apu?
We need to talk about Kevin, I'm gonna say.
Yeah. Chris, New Jersey or New Rules by Dua Lipa?
Oh, honey, you know I'm going to go New Jersey every day.
Oh, I didn't know that. I thought New Rules.
Chris is from New Jersey. Yeah, I did. It's in your briefing packet.
Thank you, George.
I didn't know he had such pride about it, though. Okay, Chris. Being a backwards hat gay or being a painting your nails straight?
Ooh. Oh my God, that's...
Backwards hat gay?
We need to return to that.
That's tough.
Chris, the Liberty Bell or the literal hell of going to the friggin' airport?
So true.
The literal hell of the airport. Yeah. The literal hell.
Okay, Chris. Feeling your fantasy or numbing your gums and teeth in preparation for surgery?
Wow. Oh my God. I just had 5 cavities filled. I should not have said that on the record, but I'm going to have to go numbing.
I don't cavity
incredible.
Thank you. They're in the weird places, but...
Chris. Okay. Oh, this one is avant-garde. Okay. Majoring in textiles at Parsons or rebooting The X-Files starring Zara Larson?
I'm going to go Parsons. I'm going to go Parsons School of Design.
Yeah.
Wow.
Don't you think majoring in textiles at Parsons, a phrase I just sort of came up with, just sounds like, yeah, I should do that.
The most glamorous thing a person can do.
Yeah.
If you're 2008.
I majored in textiles at Parsons.
At Parsons.
Oh, it's so lovely. It's very like, oh yeah, I don't exist in the time that you guys exist.
Yeah. Even just saying the word textiles, I would say textiles is one of the most beautiful words one can say in the English language.
Oh my God.
Gorgeous name for a daughter. My daughter Textiles.
My daughter Textiles.
My beautiful daughter Textiles.
Also, okay, if I were the person that majored in textiles at Parsons, I feel like my friend would be sort of complaining to me about social media, and I'd just sort of be like, yes. Oh, yeah, that stuff doesn't really bother me.
It sort of goes literally hand in hand with the Austin Butler bubble filter. That's sort of, that's sort of like they're two sides of the same coin, I'll say.
Yeah. It also goes sort of hand in hand with the Comme des Garçons thing, because what if you majored in textiles at Parsons, but then you were tasked with making the bathing suits for the United States swim team? You're trained in something different.
Oh my God.
You know what? I'm gonna give that to you. I'm gonna hand that.
That actually maybe makes more sense than the Comme des Garçons example.
Actually, I think it does.
But no, the Comme des Garçons example made so much sense the whole time.
It was perfect. We both were so on board. Wait, is it over? Wait, I will say it's so weird to do that segment and not have the little music going like do 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 do.
Well,
like it's
a peek behind the curtain, babe. And don't say that because the music will be there when people are listening to it. So they'll be like, what is he talking about? I can hear the music.
So now I seem crazy. Actually, now I look crazy, but it was very disorienting. For me, and I should have known that. I should have been prepared for that.
Sam, what would you give Chris?
Oh,
Let me think.
Let me think on that. Okay.
I'm going to think as well.
I think we're both going to think on it.
We need to think on it.
Take all your time. Take all the time.
I think it is giving... It's definitely between 700 and 900.
Let's say, I think 762 doves.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Okay. That feels a little low. I'm gonna say. I'm gonna call brain inflation.
We recently. Yeah. Sam. I just want to say you have been really good at crits recently.
Yeah, I've been really reading. Okay, so Chris, I felt like obviously there was a confidence, and I like that. You know how the game works, and that was really cool. But per our previous conversation, I felt like there was a certain energy where it almost felt like a fan contest. There was sort of a, you weren't a sup gay in this moment, you were a hi gay.
Oh my God. And you never want to be a fan. That's actually that's the rudest thing that was ever said to me.
Here's what I'll say about your performance, Chris, is you could tell that you knew how the game worked, and therefore there was not a sense of joie de vivre in your answers because you knew exactly. You obviously knew not to ask any follow-up questions. You obviously knew to answer within a specific time and not say too much else. Totally, there was a Tracy Flick quality. You knew you were like, I know how to do this and I'm gonna excel. And guess what? It fucking blew up in your face.
This is what I'll say. I think George is still mad about Comme des Garçons. So
I am not. I redeemed myself.
I think George is still mad about that.
Just to be clear, in my head, I have fully redeemed myself.
That affected my score, and I'm going on record as saying that. Two, of course, I get penalized for being too prepared, too knowledgeable, too smart, too wonderful. And you know what? I resent that, and I resent both of you. And
I can just tell you have matriculated from elite institutions, and we are a podcast of the people. And
yes,
I don't know. I mean, you're part of the elite media,
the proletariat, of course. This is what we're That's what we're dealing with.
Here we can be truthful and really speak our minds.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes,
for once,
without the veneer, without the sheen. I actually do. I hear the criticism. I can only do better next time if I'm given the chance. And I'll take the doves that I've been given,
and it's quite a few.
Yeah,
so to be clear,
it's just like a normal person.
We've given way
happy
fewer.
With that.
Yeah.
It's like you're so obsessed with being perfect.
Yeah, overachiever. It's like you're doing toxic. You're doing hustle culture, and you have to stop.
You have to stop. You need to slow down. You're stressed out. You're giving yourself ulcers.
Best little boy in the world syndrome. It's happening. It's terrible.
I can hear your heart beating from here.
Absolutely.
I love it's so nice to have a friend on the podcast, because when you have people that you don't know that well, I feel uncomfortable being straight up rude to them. But when it's a friend, you can be like, you know what, whatever.
But this is what I'm talking about.
Wow. And
this is what I was talking about with me and flirting, is like, I would do that to someone I just met, and they'd be like, okay, you don't like me, relax.
And me being a fan, I'm like, oh my God, wait, Sam, I'm like, we're friends. I'm like, oh my God. And that's me being a fan.
And that's actually the worst thing. Congratulations.
And that's the worst thing a person could be. Wow.
It really is.
It really is.
Randomly, should we get into our topic?
Yes, I think it is of the utmost importance.
So, Chris, you came here with a topic today that is actually huge because it's something that we have been wanting to speak on.
Yeah.
So I would love for you to tell us what your topic is and tell us what led you to it today.
Okay, so I'm going to say, please let the record show I was not an overachiever here. I did not know they wanted to speak on this. I just came up with this on my own, all right? It has nothing to do with my Tracy Flick energy at all. And I do feel that this topic might be literally too big to even get into. I don't even think we can really possibly unpack in the short time that we have together. But I do think a hallmark of straight culture and just something that like I want to unpack because I don't fully even understand it is marketing and or advertising.
Yeah.
It's so much, there's so much there. Honestly, I'll say it, I don't know the difference. What is marketing versus advertising? They seem to be the same thing, but I feel like they have different names, so they have to be different.
Well, marketing is girls and advertising is boys.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, marketing is also wait, hold on. Is a gay guy marketing or advertising?
No, a gay guy
marketing.
A gay guy is marketing, which is a girl. Which is a girl. So that
which is a girl. Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. So thankfully the groundwork we built is solid.
That dichotomy, that I have no questions about. But I do feel that they're used interchangeably, but they are different. But like it really, and I also think, and this is something that as a gay man, I'm going to say this, I don't think marketing and or advertising works on me. Like I don't see an ad and I'm like, I need it. Do you know what I mean?
Well, that you know of.
I used to feel that way, Chris. I used to feel that way. In recent times, they've figured me out in a way that is like kind of insane.
What is getting to you? What is like? Because it's like I get it. Like it's the marketing and advertising. It's the backbone of our nation. There's no money without it. Like that's the only way to make money, I think, in today's society.
Correct.
Which is
because it's all a. What's the word? It's like all an MLM scheme. Like there is nothing actually being marketed or advertised. It's just there. It's just sort of air, pockets of air. That's like here, this, and suddenly the banks are failing.
And suddenly Silicon Valley Bank. And I don't understand it. It's like I want somebody to explain to me why it matters. Like because I don't think it works. I think of it as like okay, Mad Men culture, and then it's like now it's like. Even the gay ads, like the RuPaul's Drag Race bubbly ads, which are like gay and it's like Jinx Monsoon and it's like our girlies, our favorite drag queens. I'm like, that also feels straight to me because it feels like they're weaponizing gayness in order to appeal to me, to steal my money. It's all.
So I have a theory about this and about why advertising is straight. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. So advertising is basically applied psychology, you could argue. It is like weaponizing psychological attributes that people have in order to sell them products. Now, psychology traditionally is female and gay coded. But then someone went in and said, how can we monetize that? And that is what's straight about it.
I'm going to stop you for a second because I think you made a big leap to say psychology is female and gay coded. I'm thinking, when I think psychology, I think Freud, I think... Carl Jung.
But Freud is gay coded.
Yeah.
Freud is gay coded. And
but straight, but also I don't know.
But also he's like all women have hysteria. Sure. Okay. So
I think you just need to justify.
But and also queer coded because his answer to everything is like you want to fuck your dad.
Yes, it is sex forward. Okay, I think that's fair. You can keep going. I think that's fair.
Don't you think? I understand what of course I think there is an argument to be made that Freud is extremely straight. But when something is Freudian, that is gay.
A Freudian slip is gay as hell.
Well, it's at least other. It's at least like, oh, you're sexually deviant. Something's wrong with you sexually.
I guess that's what it is. Yeah, it's actually not that complex. It's literally like the idea of Freud brings to mind sexual deviance, aka LGBTQ+.
Totally. You're outside of polite society. You belong over there. Stay over there. But that's the exact opposite of advertising, because advertising is all about selling polite society, is getting people to join a mob, a blob, a corporation, to everybody do the same thing. That's what ads want everyone to buy one thing, which feels so straight to me. But isn't that marketing?
One thing I think why ads maybe don't work on us potentially. Okay, here's a theory. Straight people don't have shame around buying stuff. Like, straight people love to be like, oh, I got this at Target. Whereas I think gay people like to pretend they are the only person that has it. They like to pretend they've always had it and that they didn't just discover it 2 weeks ago.
And no one told them about it. And they were the only one. They were the only person to know about it.
Exactly.
That is so real. I honestly just say every piece of clothing I just say it's thrifted, and I don't know if that's true.
No, it's so true. It's literally from H&M. You're like, oh, it's thrifted.
It's vintage. I got it 4 days ago.
It has to be. Oh, it's that need. It's exactly. I mean, I think that's the thing that makes advertising and marketing and or who knows so straight, is that the queer people need to be individual, alone, specific, bespoke, and whatnot. And advertising is about the masses. But then there's a complication because like where like influencing is basically advertising. Is that like queer advertising?
Well, I think it is. You know how there's the decline of the straight men. I do feel like are like a bit lost right now. It's like, what is our role in society? How do we safely express ourselves? And I do think that is very visible in the decline of advertising. George and I have talked about this before, where it's like ads did used to at least have a confidence to them. They at least like projected sort of a knowing.
I mean, Mad Men. It's Mad Men.
It's Mad Men. I mean,
and
the Coca-Cola
now because
polar
straight men
bear,
are lost. Yeah, now straight men are lost. It's like, oh, this is like they hire like a teen boy to hold his phone in his room and be like, yeah, I stink. That's why it's like shot shittily and it's like edited horribly and it's sort of like it's just lost. It doesn't know how to.
Let me tell you something. We've gone from Mad Men to soy boys, and it is about time we save masculinity.
Say that. We're in crisis. It's a crisis. It's a full crisis here.
But it's also like something, again, that when we were talking about like the Mad Men of it all, is like advertising was also a safe way for straight men to be creative. It's like, you're creative. Oh God, don't be a performance artist. Don't be a cabaret performer. Here, what can you do? Make ads.
Which is really kind of gay, honestly.
Yes,
like
100%. I mean, it's
making little portraits to like get your friends to buy pants. That's really fucking gay.
Yes, literally.
That's such a good point.
I do think there's something too where it's like ads are like in the Mad Men setting, you're sort of like, oh, I'm almost removed from society. Like I see it as the Matrix. I see that you are being told to buy these things.
God complex.
They don't work on me. Yeah, it's God complex. But it's like, I am actually the one that can manipulate anyone. Like, just try me. Give me a day and I'll come up with something.
But now I think it's shifted because like now queer people, like I'm like, ads don't work. I have the God complex. I'm like, ads don't work on me because I'm removed from society and I see everything. And I like, you can't sell me anything.
More presentational. I think in your mind, ads don't work on you, but you are buying stuff. It's more like you like to be knowing about ads and be like, well, they don't work on me, but yeah, I bought a shirt. Like, yeah, I'm paying attention to trends. Like, I'm not an idiot.
You wouldn't necessarily. You're still aware of what's cool and what's not, and you think about that as you're getting dressed in the morning, as you're presenting yourself. Mm-hmm. I mean,
and we're saying that's advertising. We're gonna give that to. I feel like we're giving a lot away to advertising and marketing if we're saying that, like, which it might be.
I mean, think about something like a Telfar bag. You can say you're immune to advertising, but and marketing, but that became a fetish object. Like that became something
currency.
Cool.
The bag has currency. Yeah.
And not through ads, but it was through like even the absence of ads, which is a choice to advertise.
But also through marketing. Because in my mind, I mean, maybe this is wrong, but in my mind, it's like marketing is like disseminating something, or like marketing is like a marketing strategy, whereas advertising is like an advertisement. Like you are designing,
a marketing thing could be like an event. It could be like we're having a pop-up shop.
Exactly. Right.
Like,
so, which is why it's gay, of course, because it's experience based. Like you're going.
It's a performance
to the activation, sponsored by fizzy water.
Olay. Yeah.
Olay. And Olay.
Olay fizzy water.
Yeah. Guess what? We're putting fizzy water on our. We're washing our face with fizzy water. Get in or
and guess
go
what?
home.
If somebody served me an ad for that, I'd be like, no way. And then probably 5 days later, I'd start doing it. And that's the thing that I am struggling with in terms of marketing and advertising. And that makes sense that advertising as a physical ad is like that, being like the physical thing, because that's very straight. It's very like, like I have like something to hold, like a hammer, like I have an ad in my hand. But I do feel like even though ads, I do think it's like they're straight coded, I feel like the the people, like the most famous advertisements are all gay as hell. Like Flo is a lesbian. I think we can. I think she's a lesbian.
No. I know what you're saying.
The Gecko, I think that is fruity as hell.
He kind of seems
Gecko,
straight
the
to
Gecko.
me.
No, the Gecko's gay.
The Gecko's gay. The Gecko's definitely gay.
You know who's straight? This is controversial because he's so faggy. But I think Justin Long in Apple ads, that's straight to me.
That is very straight.
Yeah.
And I think
ubiquitous.
Can you hear me now, guy? Straight.
Can I say this? Do you know who also was straight but was gay but was straight? Jared the Subway guy. That was very straight.
The way, Chris, that was going to be my go-to example, and I was like, maybe not now.
No, I didn't
and I last minute changed it to the "Can you hear me now" guy.
Okay, that means that I was onto something. You might got that.
And you're not afraid to be provocative. You're being Comme des Garçons. I'm being the United States swim team. I'm safe. I'm swimming. And you are actually being
I'm being Comme des Garçons. I was being so Comme des Garçons in that moment. So please, please forgive me for being. But many of these people many of the ads. That aside, Flo, the Gecko, like the Cheetos guy, like the Cheeto guy, Tony the Tiger, maybe straight, but like I don't know. They have faggy energy. Yes. Let's say it. And I think your point, George, about like how like this was the way for like straight guys to like sort of like zhuzh it up, like let their hair down and let their freak flag fly. That's when men were closeted and making advertisements, that's when ads were good.
Yes. Wow, that's genius. No, it's like it comes from the tension of it's like the subliminal. Oh God! It's like it comes from literally the tension of them not being able to fully express themselves through art. So they're like, "Well, I better fucking get this advertisement right, otherwise I will off myself."
I will literally. That's it. That actually is. I think that's actually really true. I think that's why ads have gone down.
Like, there's also so much like sexual subliminal messages in messaging and advertisements, which I know people. It's like if you talk to like a right-wing person or whatever, they'll say it's intentional, but I genuinely don't. I think it's someone's like Freudian. It's like, why is like in some of the Camel cigarette ads, the camel is literally sexy, and you're like, why did you make the camel sexy?
What about that was going to make me buy a cigarette? But it worked because everybody has lung cancer.
Because that camel is mother.
Yeah. We're also pointing to something where I'm like people that go to like an office every day from like 9 to 6. I'm like, what happens when you get horny in the middle of the day and you still have to work? Like,
right. Well, they have 3 martinis and then sexually harass their secretaries.
And that's literally what, and knock them up. That's actually literally what happened. Wait, wow, that time to
like, it just, I feel like the sexuality in the ads, it's like, well, yeah, they were horny at the office. Like, that's not their fault.
And they had to get it out somewhere. So it was either, you know,
and once again, they were also sexually harassing.
Yeah, very much so. That was a big part of the culture.
Enough. They also had to make the ads weirdly horny.
They had to get it out. Oh God. I mean, it's like, will there ever be like a return to that, like that day that, I mean, of like good advertisements and like, of like Mad Men era, like, you know, like just like straight men, you know, killing the game with their ad copy.
I wonder because this sort of must bring us to discussing a little bit present day, like almost like millennial oriented advertising. I mean, I'm thinking of, I literally still have a photo of this on my phone. I want to say it was probably 2012, 2013. I was visiting New York. I didn't live here yet. And I took a photo of a Seamless ad that said, it was like times when you should order food. Like, you know, when it's like 2, you know, you don't want to go outside, you know, whatever. And one of them said the phrase, "It is hotter outside than a twerking unicorn." Like a completely nonsensical. It was when, do you remember when like the idea of twerking was a punchline?
Yeah,
and, like, everyone would be like, humor. I tried twerking.
Yeah. It's Tumblr humor.
Yeah.
Tumblr humor, yes.
That's random. That's random humor. That's
random.
Like, random, like, oh God. But that's like, that must have worked. Like, that probably worked, which is so sad.
Well, Seamless was like the king. Like, Seamless was, you know, back to the earlier conversation, like the BuzzFeed, it led to such a dark trend in advertising. And they all did the same, like, drawing style. I don't know what you call that, but there's a name for it. That's like the millennial blank. And then like
Comic Sans-esque, like
like simple cartoony.
Well, Helvetica.
Oh. And the copy being so aggressive, very actively being like, yeah, we're not your dad's advertisement. Like we say fuck, even though they didn't, but basically.
So would you say then that there are two schools of advertising of advertising that directly correlate to the two famous apocalyptic
Cards Against Humanity and BuzzFeed?
Yes, exactly.
So which one is which? So Seamless is BuzzFeed?
Cards Against Humanity is like, we're not your dad's advertising company, we curse. And then BuzzFeed, no, it doesn't directly correlate, because then where would you put a Hims ad?
That's still BuzzFeed.
Where would you put it?
I think
that's BuzzFeed.
That feels BuzzFeedy. Yeah.
But BuzzFeed is very like, it's so in your face. Like there's something about the minimalist millennial aesthetic of like the pale pink, the Helvetica font.
Oh, that's very figs. It's like, do you see you know those figs, like all those ads on the subway for
they're like literally scrubs. Yeah.
Not that many people need scrubs, I think. Like I thought we were in a doctor shortage.
Yeah, there's like 30 doctors.
There's like
there's as many doctors as U.S. Olympic swimmers
wearing Comme des Garçons. It's literally the same amount.
Yeah, what if you were a doctor and you were approached to design the U.S. Olympic swim uniform?
By Comme des Garçons.
Yeah. Like that would be really difficult.
The fig example is like, so that's another thing where I'm like, who are you marketing for? Like what, like that feels...
No, you're right.
Like, but it also has that aesthetic of like sleek and minimal and, you know...
Yes. Well, the sleek and minimal thing, it also points to, the main sort of value proposition of a direct-to-consumer brand, like Casper, like the Scrubs brand, whatever, is like the world is complicated and chaotic. Don't even venture out there. Like everything. Have you ever tried buying a mattress? Like millions of people die trying every year. Like you can't, no one could ever do it. Like with your anxiety and your ADD, how could you ever? So you have to, we're making everything simple. It's like fetishizing lack of choice and simplicity.
George, you know what I call this? This is the Willy Wonkification of modern society. And it's happening all over Brooklyn. Everything is a game. Everything is for children. Everyone is a toddler, right? It's like it's so simple because we're not adults in it, because men aren't men anymore, let's say.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
We're all babies running around Brooklyn. There's this store, the Nuts Factory, that opened like down the street from me that I'm so obsessed with hating. It looks like it's for children. It's like it has like wheels that turn like for children. It's just like a big store for nuts. And it's like, nobody likes nuts that much. Nobody needs
Chris,
a store full of nuts.
Chris, we're going to say something that's actually going to make you scream and squeal.
We were both introduced to that store by Allison Roman.
No. Why?
Because
why?
When
she
was
came on the podcast and
she's
talked about that
supposed to be a chef.
No, she's not. She wasn't like I don't think she was positive or negative about it. She was just informing us of its grandeur.
She was nuts neutral.
Yeah, she was nuts neutral.
And I'm nuts negative because that is a symptom of the Willy Wonkification of society.
It's true.
We don't need nuts that bad. Everything doesn't need to be delivered to our homes, like made easy. Something should be hard.
You know, when you like have a goal when you're like 17 and you like don't achieve it and you're like 25 and you're like, oh, I'm kind of glad I didn't achieve that because that's embarrassing.
Yes.
I feel like that's what like all of Brooklyn is now. And it's like, no, we weren't actually like that idea was cool when I was 22. Like I'm 33. Like that's not cool now. And
it's not cool now.
You weren't supposed to listen to me and like cater to me. You were supposed to be catering to like a 35-year-old because I'm stupid. Like
yeah, that's what it's happening now, and now we're like aged out of it. But it's like it's proliferating. It's everywhere, and there's no corner. It's like you either have to live in. I'm sorry. It's like, and some of us, I don't want to live in Bushwick to like feel like I'm an adult. I don't want to live far away and like and be and like in that. That's just not for me. It's like you either have to live there or like to feel like a real person, or it's like every avenue it's Chuck E. Cheese or like an arts and crafts wine bar, so you can do some fun activity instead of just getting a fucking drink like a normal person.
Yeah,
I hate it, and the Nuts Factory is part of it.
Yes, no, but it's also like. It's creating, I mean, this is a hallmark of all advertising, basically, but it's like creating problems where there are none. Like trying to convince you that going to the grocery store is the most harrowing possible experience one could have. So we need to innovate now because people are dying. Like, actually, no, it's fine.
this is where I have to admit that I literally still subscribe to Blue Apron because I am 22. And so I'm a part of the problem. And that is so bad. And that is shocking.
Wow.
That sort of complicates everything that I've said. And
for that to be where you draw the line, like it's like you're so smart, you're not affected by advertising, and you subscribe to Blue Apron?
I should never have said anything. It's hard for me.
No, that's tough.
That's tough. I mean, Chris, the pandemic really stunted a lot of us.
Stunted growth. We're stunted. That's what it is, and that's my cross to bear in regards to this journey. And we all have
one. I think
we all get one thing. One creature comfort.
Yes, like we can all be baby in one area of our lives.
Totally.
I really.
How are you, baby?
Honey, I'm only baby. I'm all baby.
How am I baby?
How are you, baby? Because I will say I am Blue Apron baby. That is.
You know that my biggest baby thing actually is that like if I like put lotion on like within an hour of like a meal or anything, like I'll be like, well, I can't do the dishes. Like I can't because I just put lotion on.
Totally.
And, like my hands will get so dry and I'll have to put lotion on again.
That is so specific. Your baby for lotion. Wait, but you need it moisturized. Honestly, I get that.
I need to moisturize. My hands get so dry with the soap and the water.
Oh my God. In the winter too. Come on.
Oh,
here's how I'm baby. I feel like every single time I have to go to a formal event, and I'm not talking about like, you know, a big premiere. I'm talking about a wedding, like just a normal formal event. I, without fail, find myself that day going to buy a shirt. And it's like, at this point in your life, you should not have to be like calling out of work sick to go buy a shirt to wear at like a christening. Like, it's every time I have to, it's like I'm going to somewhere where there's no way around it. I have to be wearing a suit, nice shoes, a belt, a shirt, maybe a tie. Somehow it's like, well, I haven't done my dry cleaning. Well, I no longer fit into this shirt. Like this suit that I have is dirty because I keep saying I'm going to wash it and it's been 7 years.
Not to be the meme that's like, you know, my parents at 35, like, should we have another kid and like buy a house, and me like, how do I tie a bow tie? But like literally, I just like, did the same thing happen to me.
This is actually humiliating. The way I occasionally still like have to remember how to tie a tie. Like I never fully internalized how to tie a tie.
Oh, never. And like a regular tie like that I can sort of do. A bow tie, forget it. And then for work I had to like wear a bow tie like for like, you know, the Oscar party. And I was like, wait, I'm going to be on camera. And like I literally brought something that I cannot physically put together by myself.
Yeah, you gotta get Rebel Wilson to do it for you.
And then I had to go ask someone to physically at the hotel tie my bow tie. And I was like, that's probably not good. That's probably I hate the nuts factory because I see too much of myself in sort of the stratification of society. And I got that's actually a breakthrough that I'm having in real time, that I don't like that about myself.
Do you think like when the shopping mall was invented, bitchy gay guys were like, what are we, babies? We can go to the main street and shop.
We can go to the tailor. We can go to the cobbler. Yeah. we can go to the hat store. That is actually, God, I guess maybe it's just that society just keeps changing no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
But we're losing something. We're losing something important.
Do you guys remember when you found out that people were actually buying stuff off of Instagram?
Oh my God, Sam. Yeah, this is such an important point.
Because there was when you're like, there were ads, and it was like, well, obviously I'm not buying something off Instagram.
Never. I don't even know how to do that. How does one even go about doing that?
I'm seeing people wearing the Instagram shirt. I'm seeing people wearing the Instagram hat. And I'm saying, wait, people are literally clicking buy now and they're using this to shop. And it was like, are they right or am I right? And it was truly like, am I getting left behind? Or are they completely correct?
I am never on the forefront of that type of culture. Like people just buy, they just like adopt new things so fast. And that's not me. I can't do that. So like that sort of like, that took a while. But then you know what? I did buy 2 pairs of shorts off Instagram and they were great. And I did eventually do it.
Like it off Instagram and I love it.
What is going on here? I thought we were all on the same page. Wait, did you both click on an ad from an Instagram brand you'd never heard of and buy the shorts? Or
correct.
100%.
It wasn't like a J. Crew ad. It was like
no, just a random ad. Couldn't tell you the brand. It was thrifted.
Shocking to me. Wow.
I realized everyone else was doing it, and I was like, oh, okay. So I'm missing out, actually. I'm actually getting left behind, and I got to keep up.
That's me with TikTok right now. I mean, it's like I thought that would pass. I thought, hey, TikTok flash in the pan.
It still is. Biden's going to outlaw it. Just wait it out for a little bit. I literally still have not looked at a For You page. I don't know what the app looks like. And I'm like, Biden will ban it. And I'm just going to wait it out. I'm not going to invest in something just for Joe Biden to ban it.
I hope to God you are right.
I really do too, because I can't bridge that. I can't get over the hump there. No. And then I say that, but then one day you're literally buying shorts off Instagram, and then you're in the middle of it. And that's the thing. And that's the thing about culture.
The revelation that both of you have bought shorts on Instagram is really messing with me.
I bought a Speedo off Instagram.
That's even crazier.
Wait, the one that you wore in the Hamptons?
The like tie-dye one, yeah.
Oh my God, that was so cute.
Okay,
right?
Well, here we go.
Interesting.
And now the floodgates are open. The floodgates are open, George. Soon you'll be buying Comme des Garçons right off of Instagram.
I'll take one of the Olympic swimsuits.
they're going like hotcakes because the team did not want them.
Because they were not good enough. They were not up to standard.
Not good enough. I feel like we should at least mention. Well, okay. What I was going to say is that we should at least mention influencer marketing. But I think as part of that, I just want to say, I do think we are going. One of the ways in which society is perhaps becoming less straight is that we are, and not in a positive way, I might add, is that we are going from advertising-centric models to marketing-centric models. Like, I think I am way more influenced by, let's say, a celebrity wearing something that they were clearly paid to wear than I am influenced by, like, a print advertisement or a Subway advertisement.
A billboard, you know.
Yes.
Yeah. Which feels, and that is queer because it is more specific. It's more, it's like you have to like something about their vibe. Not any celebrity is gonna make you want to buy something, but it's got to be a specific celebrity.
Right.
But it just turns out that, at least in my opinion, the people who are like the most successful at that are the worst people ever.
Of course.
Why is that? Why is that true? Why isn't it actually somebody cool? Like, why isn't
what's
us?
up with that?
Yeah, it should be like, why is it us? Like, when we wear something, like everybody wants it. Like, I don't get that.
I know. Well, it's because, what we're peddling can't be sold, and it is sort of talking like this.
Gay voice, comedian.
It's literally just talking like this.
You know what I was thinking about? Even like professionally made ads, like targeted ads are getting so targeted that now like every ad I get, it's like there's a gay married couple like cutting a cake. And I'm like, wait, now all of them have this?
I know. It's crazy.
It really
But you're the only one getting that. It's like you're getting those ads. I'm getting like 100%. Those ads, but like it's like maybe it's an interracial couple. And I'm like, and then like that's like literally like they're like slightly different. And then with like AI, like the mind literally boggles the mind where this can go. Like with the chat GPT of it all.
When Netflix shows you a movie using like the one gay element of it to advertise it. There was an Ouroboros snake eating its own tail thing that happened to me where there was that, I think it was that rom-com on Netflix with like Lucy Liu and Taye Diggs.
Oh, I know what you're talking about, but I could never tell you the name of it.
I think it was that one. And Pete Davidson plays a gay guy, almost like it's almost like a nod to the audience.
That feels homophobic, but
100%. Yes. But here's the thing. I, as a gay man, was advertised that movie with a thumbnail of Pete Davidson.
Wow.
When in fact, so clearly, Lucy Liu would show me Lucy Liu I'll see. But it's literally like it's too the AI, the chat GPT is like smart in the wrong way. They're like, he wants to see himself and Pete Davidson is gay.
And so I actually want to see Lucy Liu. I want to see Lucy Liu wearing a fierce outfit. And then maybe I'll click on it. Oh God, that's a part of the decline. That's a part of the decline of ad. Like if the Mad Men era, back in the Mad Men era, if they had that technology, they would have been serving you Lucy Liu. That would have been, they knew that.
100%.
They would have known because they were closeted gay men and they know what they like. And that's
really true.
Discovered.
That is true.
No, you're absolutely right.
That's what we've discovered.
Interesting.
One more thing about ads. Why do I ever see an advertisement for like AT&T? Like I have never. Why should I ever see one of these ads? It's like no one's like, oh, I'm gonna go buy a new phone now because that ad was really convincing. Same for cars.
Yeah.
I'm like this. I should never ever see this car. When I want a car, I will go and like look at the info. No one's being like, oh, that was a fun ad. I'm gonna buy a $50,000 thing now. And
okay, so you're saying that advertising doesn't work on you, is what I'm hearing. That's what I'm hearing. Is that
I'm saying like it's like sometimes advertising is literally not even about using the advertisement to sell. It's about like just like the company wanting to publicly be known for something.
Yes. Well, here's the thing, because then when you're ready to buy a car, you will remember an impactful ad.
Okay.
Will I?
Will you? Yeah, I'm not. See, I'm like, I don't know.
Well, no, because none of them currently are impactful. If they were impactful, you would remember them. We're in the opposite of golden age.
We're in a state of crisis, as we've at an emergency state of crisis.
We are in
for the advertising community.
We are code red.
Call all
really
the advertisers in. Code red. Call them in. We gotta fix it from the ground up. We've got to fix it.
Do you understand how bad the state of advertising has to be if people are buying shorts on Instagram? Although I guess that's also advertising. So I really don't even, I don't know what to say. I'm speechless.
Well, that's why it's so impossible to sort of parse this out.
And by the way, I'll say this, not to victim blame, have audiences gotten stupider? I think yes.
Oh, 100%.
I mean,
I feel like
because they are being trained on these terrible ads. Like, it's like, yeah, you can sort of be like, oh my God, isn't this Hims ad stupid? Isn't this Seamless ad stupid? But those are successful companies.
Well, I mean, you can even name the ad. The fact that you can name the ads means that something worked. Yeah. And that actually is fucked, because there were so many ads that I couldn't name. But when you said Seamless and when you said Hims, I can see that ad in my head. And that's, so what, maybe they were actually good?
Yeah.
Maybe they're like the
Hats
Iraq
off.
War and that they are impactful either way.
Yeah.
Beyond measure, and I am directly responsible for all of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
congratulations.
Oh,
wow.
Gosh. Wow.
Well, that is kind of juicy. I'm trying to think if I have any final. Oh, my only final thought on ads in general is also I like a large majority of my ads are for underwear and like shorts that guys like where they're like just talking about their junk all the time. And it's like, this is also like a misunderstanding, but correctly so, where they're like, it's like guys who are straight, like being like, oh, I can't like finally shorts that don't chafe. And it's like, you are just seeing your balls through these shorts. And it's like, this is porn. Like I'm looking at porn.
You're looking at porn, but are you mad at it?
I would love it if instead of ads, it was just porn. There should be a plugin for that.
That would be so much better. And then I would maybe even watch it. I'd actually pay attention to the ads. If it was just porn, then they would have my attention, my unmitigated attention.
And guess what? Put product placement in it. I don't care.
Also, if instead of ads, people are seeing porn at their jobs, then they'll be better at making ads that have sexually inspired material.
Exactly, because they were so horny back in the day. People would be more horny, so the ads would be better if they were seeing porn.
Put sex back in ads. Yeah, no,
and sex back in the workplace. Sex back in the workplace,
back in the workplace, and back in advertising.
That I think is that we can all agree on.
And this time it can be progressive and kink positive, and like
there should be a
toxic like Mad Men.
Your office should have a room where it's like if you're in this room, you're looking for sex.
A sex room, literally. And role play could even happen too if you're into that, which is actually so. Yeah, that actually a consensual sex room in every office. That would actually solve some problems.
See, that would actually be helpful because some people want to have sex.
Some people do want to have sex with their coworkers.
HR executives listening to this, bring this back to your company at the next ideas meeting, at the next all hands. Raise your hand and say, I heard something on a podcast I listened to. StraightioLab brought to you by Will Ferrell's Big Money Players, and I'm gonna narrate it to you right now.
It's actually $1 million idea. Like they should pay. Like it's actually such a good idea.
Wow.
I'll just say this, talk about marketing. Once someone figures out an ethical way to monetize the sexual tension of a workplace, that person will become president. I'm talking
as well they should, like, as well they should.
No, like somehow you're gonna somehow figure out what we're gonna do with power dynamics, what we're gonna do with gender dynamics, like
pay disparity,
pay disparity, like women in tech. All of it. There is a way to do it, and I am. Whenever anyone figures it out, I'm telling you, It's gold.
We need our best minds on this. We really do.
We really do. We really do.
Maybe the Comme des Garçons designers can be hired to do that.
It's a great next task for them.
Well, I think we've kind of like literally unpacked all of advertising.
Yeah.
I think there's nothing left to say about, though, I have one last thing, not to segue, but your shout out segment is sort of an advertisement. That's basically just ads.
Yeah, well, it's
so you're sort of complicit.
It's influencer marketing.
It's influencer marketing.
It's influencer marketing.
Okay, you can say it that way, but
and it's building our brand more than it's building the brands of the things that we shout out.
All right, exactly. It seems like you're sort of like shouting out synergy. Specific things.
And as we've said, marketing is gay and advertising is straight. So
it is an experience. Yeah. That's fair. The shout outs are an experience.
Speaking of, should we do our final segment? Shout outs.
Let's do it. Sam, please describe it.
Okay, shoutouts is our homage to the classic tradition of straight culture where we shout out anything that we enjoy. Imagine it's 2001, you're at TRL in Times Square shouting out to your squad back home about anything that you like. And I actually have one now.
Whoa.
Ooh.
So I'll start. And wait, stop me if I've done this one before. I don't think I have, but I'm feeling very brain dead today, and I can't remember what things I talked about on the podcast and what I haven't. Okay, what's up, everyone from coast to shining coast? I want to give a huge shout out to the show that comes on after Drag Race called The Exhibit, starting recently. This show is so funny. It is a reality show about like fine art where you win an exhibit, a show in the big museum, and the tone is so confusing because they are actually trying to do like nuanced art like pieces, but they're like trying to reality showify it and does not connect. And so there's like a little like boss woman walking around judging people, but truly just like being like, I don't think there's a nuance that's sort of missing. And then it's like, dun dun dun, and it like doesn't work. And like also there's like real artists on it. Like there's this guy that went to college with Misha, who's actually, his name is Misha, and he's like very successful. And it was sort of like, why'd you do this show? You're embarrassing yourself. I see people tweeting about you on the internet just saying like the gay guy on The Exhibit. And it's like, you have a whole studio. You have shows around the world. Why did you say yes to this? But it's amazing to watch someone successful sort of try to maneuver in a reality show setting. Reality shows are a weird world for art to be seen, but at the same time, I'm kind of invested and I might watch the entire season and find out who wins next week on The Exhibit. Woo! Woo!
Wow. I gotta say, just personally speaking, I now want to watch that. I'd never heard of that, and I now
you really sold it to us.
Yeah, well, it's marketing.
It actually is just so jarring and weird because it's clunky and bad, but then at the end I was like, I need to keep watching this.
Oh, I feel like we've, as a society, have run out of ideas for reality television competitions if that's where we're at. And that's okay. But I feel like I could let that into my life.
It's on after Drag Race.
Someone needs to, I've said this for decades. Someone needs to figure out what's going on with the art world. And if that is a reality show, then I'll watch. Because something is
gotta get to the bottom of it.
There.
Something's always
and I've met these people.
Something is amiss in that community.
Okay, I just thought of one. Oh my God, and it's actually marketing related, believe it or not. Okay. What's up, friends, acquaintances, lovers, and future lovers? I want to give a shout out to the person who thought of the concept of yogurt-covered pretzels and named it yogurt-covered pretzels. Guess what? That's not yogurt. It's not yogurt.
What is it?
There's no way that's yogurt.
Whistleblower.
There's some concoction of sugar, corn syrup, and like whatever that thing is that's meat-based, that's in gelatin. Not meat-based, animal-based. My point is, if you've had a yogurt covered pretzel, that's not what yogurt tastes like, and that's not what yogurt is like when you like dry it or whatever. So it's clearly something else, but yogurt is so healthy coded that you can just call something white that, frankly, if it wasn't for the association with yogurt, would look pretty disgusting. Like something that is white coated, need I say more? You just decided to call that yogurt covered pretzels, and then suddenly it's healthy coated? Suddenly you are seeing that and you're saying, well, I'd rather have that than a chocolate covered pretzel. I'd rather have yogurt than chocolate. I'm suddenly it's keto friendly suddenly. Well, let me tell you something. I was not born yesterday, and you will not trick me, even though I do eat them on the regular, but I don't think they're healthy, and that's why I'm smart.
Wait, I'm confused. Like, do you know for a fact that it's not yogurt, or are you just
No, but
guessing
like
it's not
how?
yogurt?
In what world would that be yogurt?
This is
Do you think that's yogurt?
Maybe they made special yogurt. Maybe it's
What
like
Yeah, maybe it's a
yogurt?
different type of yogurt.
I'm gonna look up.
there's so many types of yogurt.
Are yogurt covered pretzels?
Are they real? No, we have. I have to know
Actually
this.
yogurt.
Because I always assumed that they were.
They can't lie about
Yogurt
that.
covered snacks don't actually contain much yogurt.
What?
Yogurt covering is not the same thing as yogurt. There's a small amount of yogurt powder involved, according to Time magazine. But the majority of the mixture is stuff like sugar, palm kernel oil. Wait, I was literally right.
Oh my god,
And
you literally
stabilizers
were right.
and extra salt.
Wow.
Gosh.
I'm sort of shocked. To me, it's like it's like you've had yogurt. Like that's not what yogurt is.
No, yeah, but I assumed it was like a different version of the yogurt that I was
assumed there were
accustomed
multiple
to.
versions.
I mean,
of
that's why I
yogurt.
shouted out the
Yeah.
people who thought of it because they're geniuses. I mean,
That
does
is
anything
so-
sound healthier when you're looking for a snack? Like yogurt covered pretzels? Like pretzels, you are told from a young age are the healthy alternative to like chips. And then yogurt is like, has protein.
And then yogurt has whey protein in fact.
Whey protein.
That actually
I mean, you're
is-
bulking.
You're bulking.
You're basically at the gym when you're eating.
Yeah, exactly. Building muscle.
You
Wow.
are. Oh my god! Wait, mine was actually randomly snack related too.
Please.
Well,
just
I say
so-
go
we
for it. then.
love
We have a
snacks
theme.
energy.
Okay, all right. I can go. Okay.
Yes.
Hello, all you chicos and chicas out there. Thanks for listening to this ad. I want to shout out my favorite little snack that I had right before recording, saltines with peanut butter. They're so good. It's so simple. It's classic. It's delectable. I feel like Carrie Bradshaw when I eat them alone in my apartment and stack them up, and it's my little snack, and I like look out the window and eat them. And sometimes you're working your 9 to 5 in the office and you don't have time to go to lunch. You don't have time to go to the cafeteria. And what you need, excuse me, is a little bite of happiness, some peanut butter, and a nice salty little snack. I know peanut butter, a lot of people are allergic to it. And you know what? I don't care. We're missing out on things that make me happy. So I want to give it up to saltines and peanut butter, Jiffy peanut butter specifically. It's really fucking fantastic, and it made my little tummy go yum today.
God, I always am into a shout out of peanut butter. One of the
It's
finest,
so
one of the only good
good.
things Americans have invented.
It's also
a Black American. Don't forget George Washington.
Is that
true? Yeah.
Oh, yes,
Yes.
that's right.
Everybody
Of course,
knows that,
of
George.
course. Wait, I do want to say our producer Olivia texted us the full ingredients of yogurt coating, and I would like to dramatically read them. Yogurt coating typically consists of sugar, partially hydrogenated palm kernel oil, whey powder, non-fat yogurt powder, titanium dioxide, sounds toxic, soy lecithin,
Scary.
salt, and artificial flavor.
Okay, three of those things sound terrifying to me.
There should be a class action lawsuit, in my opinion.
I deserve money, and I've only had like 10 yogurt covered pretzels in my whole life.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Sam, I interrupted you. Sorry.
Oh, well, I was going to say, Chris, you bring up something that I think about all the time also, which is like the ideal snack makes me feel like Carrie Bradshaw. The ideal snack makes me feel like a 90s girl who like
Yes.
cares about health, but also is like wants a fun treat during the day and is like
Is doing
it's
her nails
cozy,
while
but
eating
it's
it.
chic. Yeah. There's something so specific.
You have to, that's how you know that you're eating good. It's like, it's not too much, but it's like, it hits the spot. You're being a little indulgent, but not too indulgent, you know?
Yes.
It's like
Oh.
writing that line.
There's really something to that.
It really is. And saltines and peanut butter will do it for you. But yogurt coated pretzels, I don't know.
No.
Anymore.
Sounds like they're on the chopping block.
Saltines really are that girl that has been around forever, and she's never gotten her moment.
No,
She's
and
sort
no
of-
one's doing it better.
It's like when Carrie Hilson was a songwriter. Like, she can't be the star, but
No.
she's the backbone.
She's the backbone. She's the backbone of society, saltines. We don't give her enough credit. Good when you're healthy,
No.
good when you're sick, too.
Tea.
In
Gee.
every way.
Well,
wow.
Chris.
Well,
Wow.
This was an absolute delight.
thanks for doing the podcast. This was amazing.
This was a delight. And you know what? I learned a lot about myself. Speaking of calling, you really called me in. Tracy Flick energy.
Please don't.
really-
I can feel you're still beating yourself up about that.
I know.
yeah.
It's okay.
It's okay.
And George should be beating himself about Comme de Garçon. That's what should be happening.
No, it's true.
Oh, wow.
That's what
Although
it's-
the thing is, I'm so confident about that specific one that I'm like, no, that was good. Like you can't. There are other things I can be insecure about, but I'm like, no, that was good.
That's so
That's
funny.
good. I'm happy. I'm really happy. It's a dream.
Well, God, this was like one of our more informative episodes. I feel like we really spent a lot of time on the topic.
Yeah.
Yeah, we really did the work.
All right, folks.
We did the work. Well, thank you, legend.
Chris, thank you so much.
Thank you. Wait, this was so fun. This was really fun.